Extreme Rules match between Roman Reigns and the Demon Finn Balor for the Universal Championship. I love the entrance of Balor, but more so for the shots of Roman Reigns looking so uninterested when they would cut to him as Balor is doing this elaborate entrance, and he just looked so bored watching this guy.
I thought it was nice of the Demon to take the time to paint his last name on the back of his shoulders.
That takes remarkable hand-eye coordination.
He probably conjured it up, you know.
Or a kilt.
Yeah, I sure. It's probably a really minor thing, but I'm not really into the idea of like these kind of like netherworldly creatures having their names on their bodies. Like, I really don't think like Jason.
How would you know this is Finn Balor then?
Yeah, you wouldn't. You're right, but I just don't see Jason having like Jason written on his mask, or I don't know, Pinhead having Pinhead written on his back, you know?
Well, I have seen enough fighters that get their last name tattooed on their backs that it's more common than you would think.
Sure, I guess so. So the Demon is narcissistic.
Do you have Ting written on your back, just in case?
Oh, you never see my back on the camera for a reason.
So everyone's known. Reigns goes for the first weapon. He takes out a kendo stick. But ladies and gentlemen, Finn Balor has the 4 kendo sticks wrapped together. And the reaction this bundle of kendo sticks received, you would have thought he brought out a grenade.
Yeah, the kendo stick bundle. I mean, what's better than one kendo stick?
4.
Well, what's better than 4? I mean, Roman should have brought out his bundle of 8 kendo sticks.
Roman Reigns was the best during this match. He yells at the fans, "You're a bunch of dumbasses. No tables. No tables." And they were so upset. And then when Reigns gets attacked, Balor brings out the table. The pop was that much louder because Reigns had denied them of this gift, and Balor was providing it for them. I thought that was great. Then the two fight into the crowd, and in preparation for going out into the crowd, Roman Reigns masks up.
Yeah, he asked Paul Heyman to hand him a mask.
Pat McAfee explained he does not want to breathe the air of these people in Columbus. I thought this was like the most unique thing of the entire match.
It was very fascinating. It was the first time we have seen something like this happen, at least on a WWE show. And I think indicates to you how serious Roman takes this pandemic. And
they will not shine a light on this. I thought this was like
a babyface moment.
It really was, but just from the perception, it was like, I don't know if you're necessarily going to bestow such faith in WWE when it comes to certain elements, but I certainly do with this guy. And I thought that, this very easily could have been, oh God, we can't be doing this kind of thing. Just cut out the brawl spot into the crowd. But they went ahead with it and did this. And listen, this is a very superficial company when it comes to how everybody looks and appears, and they had to call attention to it. They could not ignore it. I just found it really interesting that this was obviously Reigns being adamant about doing this, and good for him to do so.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure like if there are many performers who they probably would have allowed, but I mean, Roman especially, if I would imagine this was his request, and if he demands it, you can't say no. And does anybody like look at the match any differently? No,
not
we all recognize that this is a performance. Now, it would be interesting if the Demon also wore a mask as he went to the crowd. Like, how would they explain that, I wonder?
The Demon is less concerned about your vaccination status in Columbus.
Yeah. They have great immunization in wherever the Demon's from.
So they brawl through the kickoff panel area, and then they make their way back to the ring, and Balor gets put through a table. He stops a spear with a kick, sling blade, but then Reigns comes back with a spear. Balor kicks out, but he has now turned the tables because when he kicks out, he forearms Reigns in the balls. And they showed the replay of Reigns selling this. It was tremendous. I mean, it looked like this guy was about to vomit from this shot. Balor hit a beautiful tope con hero and the coup de grace when the Usos yank Balor to the floor, double super kick, but Balor fights off both of them, including Jay going through the announcer's desk. Balor turns around and Reigns spears him through the timekeeper's area. The lights start to flicker, and everybody is having haunting flashbacks to Seth Rollins and The Fiend. The lights turn red. Wait, you, semi-called this.
Well, I mean, I saw the red light on Friday, and I just wondered, okay, are they going to have this throughout the entire match? They did not have it throughout the entire match, but they saved it for a very special moment here.
Probably not there by accident. The lights turn red. Balor's music starts playing as Finn Balor comes to life.
So even, yeah, as he's coming to life, so they really just play his entrance over, verbatim, including the song and including the heartbeats that start the entrance. And Balor as the demon, in sync with the heartbeats, is having convulsions on the floor. He was being given CPR by his entrance. It was remarkable and I think ridiculous.
Remarkable and ridiculous. He just pops up. He's got flower power, and Balor sends Reigns into the ring. He climbs to the top rope, and the rope snaps, and the demon has a potential knee injury. The lights come on. It was like last call at the club, and everyone's got to go home. And Reigns spears him for the victory in 19 minutes and 41 seconds. Pat McAfee, who is just complete, whatever goes through his mind comes out of his mouth. What the hell just happened? What Bush League? And then he cuts himself off before he finishes that sentence, before he calls it a Bush League operation. And Reigns retains. They saved this for the end because I don't think there was any following this. Again, it was, to me, having these back-to-back was just, we have such an aversion to beating anyone that we have to come up with, you can stomach the, a run-in spot. This one was,
I think they
probably spent a lot of time thinking about this, but it was...
They should have, because to me, the biggest question coming into this match was, how are they going to protect the Fiend coming out of it? Because we know Roman is going to have to win, but also the Fiend is like a well-protected gimmick at this point. And this is the Fiend's first match in 2 years or something like that? They shelved this gimmick for a long time to bring it up for this, right? So you can't just have, I think, a straight loss. I did not expect them to go the route that they did. I mean, I'll say, unlike the Charlotte Alexa finish with that supernatural element, I do give them credit for being creative here and coming up with a unique way to create that distraction. Did it work? I think the crowd actually really got into the red light when it started. And more importantly, Balor, when he finally came to and got aggressive with the chair, put Roman through the table, they were with him for that. The humping, that was ridiculous. That was just silly. And then the rope break, I mean, it was just more of a what the fuck moment, and definitely, of course, deflated the crowd as you would expect anyway. I at least hoped that they would have given us an explanation before the end of the show, but it looks like we're going to have to wait until Friday for that.
And they have to give a credible explanation for this. I hope this is not something where we're moving on to our next programs, including Finn, who will look like a total chump if he just moves on from this.
Well, I'm just thinking how Brock ties into it. How did
Brock was on the ring crew.
Brock was on the ring crew. Okay.
I don't know.
He timed it so that it would break right at this moment.
The man hit the coup de grace 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Brock
was too powerful for the rope with his supernatural comeback.
It could be. Yeah. I don't know. But they're going to have to come up with a hell of an explanation for something like this. And, the match I thought was for
a very good match. I mean, whatever. The finish, I think there was a time and a place where you would have been much more critical and upset about a finish like this. I think 2020 was a watershed year for WWE when it comes to, dude, this is Extreme Rules. Last year was the horror show where a man's eyeball rolled across and we had to hear Samoa Joe proclaim, "The eye is out." At that point, I mean, you almost sound silly getting too worked up over this. It's a totally different level of what you're going to take. And I think at most you're mildly amused at the lengths that they will go to avoid pinning somebody. And you're just kind of absorbing, was it a good match? And the finish, if it's great, good. And if it's not, like, the finishes are what they are.
It's a mistake. It's a mistake to judge a show like this by the same criteria as you would judge a G1 or even an AEW show. It's a different audience, and I think you ultimately gauge whether or not it works in front of this crowd. I mean, for as much as I think you and I might hate that Lily shit, like Lily was over tonight, to this audience, and I think for a moment they did get into the red light stuff, as ridiculous as it was. So. I wait to see how they explain it. I thought it was a little unsatisfying that we didn't end the show with one. But overall, I had very low expectations going to the show, John, especially after watching the TV and knowing that, all that was to come later. But like all WWE pay-per-views, in ring, these always tend to deliver. Finishes aside, I thought there were some really great performances from everybody in this card. And this was an excellent crowd as well. So, if you are somebody who is into watching these shows, hoping for like satisfying storyline conclusion, you could probably skip this show. It is a B show, everybody. But if you want to watch like just the solid wrestling belt up between the stories and all that, I thought this was a great time.
I thought like it was a show that the 3 hours did not drag to me. I will be critical about some of the finishes. I think it is completely fair to compare it to other wrestling products if you so choose. I don't know how these kinds of things, you get a finish like this, is that inspiring people for future shows like this? Like, do you think that this did favors for the Demon character? And to that, I would just question if this was the extent that we had to go to protect this Demon character, did we need the Demon character on this? Could we have built, instead of the TV finish, to doing Finn Balor on this show as the contract what would you have done for the set up last month?
So what would you have done for the TV finish if you wanted to do that match then?
I would have said that this is headlining my next pay-per-view, and I will find something else for these 20 minutes of SmackDown while I build up Finn Balor for the next pay-per-view.
I mean, they clearly think the Demon is a more marketable pay-per-view headliner. And unfortunately, it also comes. But now you've beat him.
So what have you accomplished by that?
You got people potentially interested in the main event on a pay-per-view. That's what you accomplished.
I'm looking beyond this, though.
Well, who knows when they'll use the Demon again? I'm sure, by the time that happens, maybe. I mean, I don't think they'll do Demon and Reigns again. So I don't think you're in as any danger next time around. Like, Demon will hopefully win his next program, but
does he stay on SmackDown?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. He just came back, it feels like. So I think he could probably stay. I don't know. Not really sure, but it's like I don't think they see Finn Balor as a champion. I think they see him as sort of like a type that can be an opponent for a Roman Reigns for one particular month. Vince seems to love the Demon enough to at least want to put him on a B show headlining role. But
and
beyond
protect
that,
him too. Like, this is their idea of protecting him too with this finish. They could have just choked him out.
But beyond that, I mean, Balor, I think they see as sort of like, slightly above like a Kevin Owens type of role. So this is maybe the most you'll get out of him main event wise.